Emily Williams, a woman with delicate features and expressive eyes, had always been known for her generosity and resilient spirit. Her life, which was once overflowing with dreams and hopes, was abruptly shattered when her husband, John, a robust man with an easy smile and a kind heart, received the terrible diagnosis of severe heart disease. The impact of this news devastated the couple, transforming their peaceful routine into an incessant fight for survival. The tranquility of his nights was replaced by constant visits to doctors and hospitals, and the comfort of his home gave way to anxiety and fear of the future. The prognosis was grim. Without complex and extremely expensive surgery, John's chances of survival were slim. Savings that had been carefully saved over the years were quickly consumed by the exorbitant costs of medical treatments. The stacks of bills piled up, and each new exam brought the uncertainty of an even bleaker future. Emily, who had always dreamed of becoming a teacher, found herself forced to give up her own desires to face this new reality. The days that were previously filled with reading and studying were now dedicated to financial calculations and desperate attempts to find a solution to save the husband she loved so much. Each night, as John slept, Emily cried silently, feeling helpless and lost. The need for an immediate and stable income led Emily to look for work anywhere that could offer a quick solution. After several failed attempts, she found an opportunity as a chambermaid at the Grand Royal Hotel, a luxurious establishment located in the heart of New York. The hotel, with its opulent hallways, crystal chandeliers, and polished marble floors, contrasted sharply with the simplicity of its former life. On the first day, Emily felt the weight of the responsibility she had assumed. The impeccable uniforms and strict rules intimidated her, but she knew there was no room for error. The long hours of work, cleaning rooms and meeting guests' incessant demands, represented more than just a job. They were Emily's only hope of securing John's treatment. Every sheet changed, every bathroom scrubbed was a step in the difficult journey she had decided to take to save the love of her life. Each day, as she walked through the hotel's elegant hallways, Emily held in her heart the image of John smiling again, healthy and happy. This vision was his fuel, his driving force to face exhaustion and despair. Emily, with her generous heart and unwavering determination, turned despair into an overwhelming force, showing that true love can move mountains and transform lives. For Emily Williams, accepting the job at the Grand Royal Hotel was a decision filled with anguish and sacrifice. Since childhood, she dreamed of being a teacher, enchanted by the transformative power of education and the sparkle in children's eyes when learning something new. However, daydreams about inspiring classes and textbooks were overshadowed by the harsh financial realities her family faced. When Emily first entered the imposing Grand Royal Hotel, a mixture of awe and apprehension came over her. The long, luxurious hallways, adorned with works of art and exquisite details, seemed to belong to another world, far removed from the modest house where he lived. The main lobby, with its gigantic chandelier and lush carpets, reflected a luxury that Emily had never imagined seeing up close. Dressed in her impeccable maid uniform, she felt butterflies in her stomach as she walked through the opulent surroundings. The clientele, made up of elegant executives, celebrities, and wealthy tourists, exuded an air of superiority that made Emily feel tiny and out of place. Each step echoed on the marble floor, and each glance seemed a silent assessment of his presence in this setting of wealth. Emily tried to suppress the feeling of inadequacy as she received her first instructions. The head of the cleaning department, a stern woman with an impenetrable expression, detailed her responsibilities in a cool, professional voice. The rules were strict and expectations were high. Rooms had to be impeccably clean, punctuality was crucial, and discretion was mandatory. Emily felt a huge weight on her shoulders, but she knew she couldn't fail. Success in this job was his only hope for financing the surgery that could save John's life. Upon entering the first room to clean it, Emily was immediately confronted with the reality of the job. Guest-strewn clothes, rumpled sheets, and untidy bathroom were a reminder of the physical effort that would be required. With shaking hands, he began to make the bed, folding each sheet with care and precision. She felt watched, even though she was alone, as if the ghosts of her lost dreams were watching her from some dark corner of the room. Despite the exhaustion and intimidation, Emily found a rhythm in her work, trying to turn each task into an act of hope. Every folded towel, every polished surface represented a step closer to securing John's treatment. She tried hard to stay focused, constantly reminding herself why she was there. As the days passed, Emily learned to navigate the hotel's expectations and deal with the demanding clientele. He faced critical looks and challenging demands with a professional smile, hiding the pain and exhaustion he felt. In his heart, he knew he was sacrificing his dreams, but he believed that this sacrifice was necessary for a future in which, perhaps, he could redeem his own desires and ambitions. Every day at the Grand Royal Hotel was a battle, but Emily was determined to overcome it, one task at a time. Emily Williams' life had turned into a marathon of grueling tasks and unrelenting responsibilities. Each day began before the sun rose, when the alarm clock rang at 4 in the morning, interrupting his restless dreams. She got up with slow and heavy movements, her mind still clouded by the accumulated fatigue. But she soon remembered the reason for her tireless effort: John. With silent steps so as not to wake him, Emily headed to the kitchen of the modest house they shared, turning on the dim lights and starting her morning routine. He prepared breakfast with automatic gestures, mixing simple ingredients to create a nutritious meal. The aroma of fresh coffee filled the air, and the sound of toast being made was almost comforting. Each action was done with meticulous care, as if the act of preparing food was an extension of the love she felt for her husband. After serving John's breakfast with an encouraging smile, Emily hurried to change into her maid uniform. The fabric, already worn from frequent washing, was a tangible reminder of her new reality. With a heavy heart, she said goodbye to John with a soft kiss on the forehead and left to face another day at the Grand Royal Hotel. The journey to work was a time of silent reflection. The bus swayed gently as it crossed the still awakening city. Emily watched the quiet streets through the window, the first rays of sunlight illuminating buildings and trees, and mentally prepared herself for the long hours that awaited her. At the hotel, the routine was a physical and emotional marathon. Each day began with the assignment of chores, an endless list of rooms to clean, bathrooms to scrub, and beds to make. The luxurious corridors of the Grand Royal were like a maze of challenges, each door representing a new environment to make impeccable. Emily worked at a steady, determined pace, moving from room to room with almost mechanical efficiency. Cleaning the rooms was an exhausting effort that required strength and precision. Each unmade bed represented a mountain to be climbed, every untidy bathroom a battlefield. Emily cleaned every surface meticulously, scrubbing floors and polishing mirrors until they shined. Sweat ran down her face, and the muscles in her arms ached, but she continued, driven by fierce determination. Guest demands varied, from simple requests for extra towels to irritable complaints about small details. Emily responded to each request with patience and a professional smile, hiding the exhaustion she felt. His only reward was the occasional gratitude from a satisfied guest, a small glimmer of hope in a day of hard work. Each shift felt like an eternity, and when it was finally time to go home, Emily was exhausted, physically and emotionally. The way back was a silent journey, marked by the relief of having finished another day, but also by the constant worry about John and the uncertainty of the future. When she got home, she found the strength to take care of her husband, making sure he was comfortable and receiving the necessary treatment. Despite the extreme tiredness and the overwhelming routine, Emily remained firm, driven by her unshakable love for John. He was her light in the darkness, the reason she faced each challenge with courage and determination. Every day was a battle, but Emily was determined to win, no matter the cost. Her love for John was the strength that kept her going, the hope that guided her through difficulties, and the promise of a better future that motivated her to move forward. During her grueling shifts at the Grand Royal Hotel, Emily Williams has had the opportunity to meet a wide range of guests, each with their own stories and idiosyncrasies. Each day was a new page in a book filled with fascinating characters, and interacting with these people served as a reminder that even in the midst of hardship, the world was vast and full of surprises. There were stressed business people, always in a hurry and often talking on their cell phones as they walked through the lobby. They wore expensive suits and exuded an aura of urgency and authority. Emily found her rooms full of scattered papers, open laptops, and traces of sleepless nights. Some were polite and nodded their thanks, while others barely noticed his presence, immersed in their own worries. On the other hand, the celebrities who visited the hotel brought a touch of glamour and mystery. Once, Emily had to clean the room of a famous actress whose demands were as extravagant as her fame. Expensive perfume permeated the air, and luxurious accessories were scattered around the room like toys. She also encountered famous musicians whose chaotic lifestyle was reflected in disorganized rooms, with musical instruments, sheet music, and empty bottles. However, it was amid these routine interactions that Emily found an unexpected connection. Michael Thompson, a charismatic businessman with a commanding presence, was a frequent visitor to the hotel. Tall and soft-spoken, he was always engaged in lively conversations with his coworkers, but seemed to have a keen sensitivity to the details around him. Emily noticed that he always greeted her with a genuine smile, a simple gesture that made her feel seen in a sea of indifference. One morning, while Emily was changing the towels in Michael's room, he burst in, apparently back from a meeting. Noticing her tiredness, he paused and watched her with gentle curiosity. "You look exhausted," he commented, a tone of genuine concern in his voice. Emily, surprised by the attention, tried to hide her tiredness with a professional smile, but the sincerity in Michael's eyes disarmed her. It was at that moment that Michael began a conversation that would go beyond the usual formalities between employees and guests. He asked about her day, about how she was coping with the hard work, and with an empathy that seemed rare in his recent life, he listened intently. Emily felt an instant connection, as if she could trust him without reservation. He briefly shared his story, mentioning John's health and the challenges he was facing. In the days that followed, Michael made a point of crossing Emily's path whenever possible, offering words of encouragement and kind gestures that brightened her day. He gave her small tips and, more importantly, a shoulder to lean on in a time of great need. Their meetings, although brief, were a relief from the constant pressure of their work and concerns about John's health. Michael wasn't just an ordinary guest. He was an attentive listener and a generous soul, who saw beyond Emily's role as chambermaid and recognized her struggle and determination. The friendship that blossomed between them became a point of support for Emily, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there were still people willing to help and bring a little light and hope into her life. Michael Thompson, moved by Emily's moving story, began to demonstrate his generosity in subtle and meaningful ways. Initially, their help came in the form of generous tips and words of encouragement that, although simple, made a profound difference in Emily's days. Every note left at Michael's bedside or every kind word exchanged in the hotel hallways was like a ray of sunshine piercing the dark clouds that hung over Emily's life. As time passed, Michael, curious and supportive, began to understand the true depth of Emily's sacrifice. In a longer conversation, Emily, feeling a growing trust in Michael, revealed the extent of her struggle. She told of John's serious illness, the sleepless nights of worry, and the crushing weight of medical bills. She spoke about the desperation that led her to accept the job at the hotel and the distant dream of raising the money needed for the surgery that could save her beloved husband's life. Michael, known for his generous heart and entrepreneurial vision, decided that just words of comfort and small gestures of generosity were not enough. He wanted to do something more impactful, something that could really change Emily and John's situation. After reflecting on the situation, he had an idea that combined his altruistic spirit with his ability to mobilize people. Organize a fundraiser at the hotel itself to pay for John's surgery. Michael's proposal was ambitious, but he believed in the power of community and the ability to create change through collective action. He began planning the event with infectious enthusiasm, sharing his idea with other regular guests and hotel staff. Many were moved by Emily's story and were willing to help in any way possible. Michael suggested holding an elegant benefit dinner, which would include an auction of items donated by hotel guests and partners. He even pledged to donate a luxury stay at one of his prestigious resorts as one of the top prizes. The idea was to create an event that would not only raise the necessary funds, but also bring a sense of community and solidarity. As preparations for the event progressed, Emily felt a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. She couldn't believe that a simple guest, someone she had only met a few weeks ago, was willing to move mountains to help her. Michael involved her in the planning, ensuring that she felt part of the process and understood that the effort was, above all, a celebration of her unbreakable spirit and tireless fight for John. The night of the event arrived with an air of expectation and palpable excitement. The elegantly decorated main ballroom of the Grand Royal Hotel was filled with guests dressed in formal attire, all eager to participate and contribute. The soft music of a string quartet filled the room, creating an atmosphere of solidarity and hope. During the event, Michael gave an emotional speech, telling Emily's story and highlighting the courage and resilience she demonstrated every day. The guests were touched by the sincerity of his words and the noble cause he defended. The auction was a resounding success, with items selling for generous amounts and spontaneous donations flowing in from all directions. Emily, moved to tears, watched everything with a heart full of gratitude. She never imagined her silent struggle could inspire such compassion and support. That event, driven by Michael's unexpected kindness, not only brought hope for a new chance for John, but also renewed his faith in humanity and the power of solidarity. With the success of the fundraising, Emily was finally able to raise the money needed for John's surgery. Michael, who started out as a simple guest with a generous heart, became an angel in Emily's life, proving that selfless gestures and the union of people moved by a cause can make miracles happen. Fundraising for John's surgery began with a beaming promise of hope. The event, driven by Michael's generosity and the solidarity of guests, felt like a beacon amid the darkness of the difficulties Emily faced. However, as in every story of overcoming, obstacles soon began to emerge, threatening to turn off the light that they had lit so hard. The first signs of problems came in a subtle, almost imperceptible way. Some of Emily's co-workers, who had previously been neutral or even friendly, began to act strangely. Whispers in the corridors, suspicious looks, and a growing distance were the first signs that something was not right. Emily, focused on her goal and grateful for the chance for change, did not immediately notice the approaching tide of hostility. Envy began to brew among some hotel employees, who saw the attention and sympathy that Emily received from Michael and the guests as an injustice. To them, the opportunity to raise funds felt like a privilege Emily didn't deserve. The camaraderie that once existed dissolved into venomous murmurs and looks of contempt. The situation worsened when these colleagues, driven by bitterness, began spreading malicious rumors about Emily. They said she was taking advantage of others' generosity, that her story was exaggerated, and that Michael's true intentions were not as noble as they seemed. These insinuations began to undermine the trust others had in Emily, casting shadows of doubt over her integrity. But the sabotage didn't just stop at rumors. While planning the event, Emily began to face unexpected difficulties. Materials that had been ordered to decorate the charity dinner mysteriously disappeared, and contracts that seemed right were suddenly canceled. Someone was trying to sabotage his efforts, undermining every step he took toward his goal of saving John. The pressure on Emily increased when some of the donors began to withdraw their support, influenced by the insidious rumors. Fundraising, which initially seemed like a clear path to salvation, became a minefield of challenges and disappointments. Emily found herself in a delicate position, struggling to maintain the integrity of the event and the trust of the people who still believed in her. In a moment of despair, Emily felt the crushing weight of betrayal and uncertainty. He wondered how someone could be so cruel as to sabotage his efforts at such a critical moment. The sleepless nights became even more harrowing, with doubt eating away at his determination and the fear of failure haunting his thoughts. Despite the obstacles, Emily found the strength to continue. With the support of Michael, who remained unwavering in his determination to help, she began to unravel the web of intrigue that had formed around her. Together, they faced the challenges with courage and resilience, identifying the saboteurs and bringing the truth to light. Michael used his influence to regain donor support and ensure the event proceeded as planned. The journey was arduous, but Emily refused to give up. With each obstacle overcome, his faith in the purpose of his effort grew stronger. She learned that in the midst of adversity, true strength lies not only in individual determination, but also in the support of those who truly believe in your cause. With a lot of effort and persistence, Emily managed to overcome the challenges that threatened her dream. The fundraising, despite all the setbacks, was a success, and hope of saving John was renewed. Through her struggle against obstacles, Emily has proven that even when circumstances are adverse and betrayal threatens to destroy everything, truth and perseverance can prevail, turning darkness into light and dreams into reality. Determination was a word Emily Williams knew well. After facing treacherous blows from envious colleagues and dealing with difficulties that threatened to unravel her efforts, she decided that she would not let adversity overcome her. With her heart full of courage and her mind focused on saving John, Emily rose from the ashes of her shattered hopes, ready to fight for what was right. Emily found strength and relief in her alliance with Michael Thompson, who became more than just an ally. He was a true pillar of support. Her constant presence and commitment to helping went beyond words, turning into concrete actions that strengthened Emily's position. Michael, with his experience and leadership skills, took the lead in many aspects, ensuring that operations continued to flow in an organized and efficient manner. Upon realizing that she was facing a sabotage network, Emily decided it was time to act firmly. Along with Michael, she gathered some trusted colleagues who proved loyal from the beginning. They formed a small but effective support group, focused on identifying the culprits and restoring trust within the Grand Royal Hotel. The group began a thorough investigation, observing the suspicious movements and behavior of their colleagues. Every detail, no matter how small, was analyzed carefully. Michael used his contacts and resources to help discreetly investigate, ensuring the truth emerged without alerting the saboteurs. They discovered that some of the most vocal employees against Emily were, in fact, involved in sabotage and spreading malicious rumors. Emily and Michael confronted the culprits with clear evidence of their actions. The revelation of the intrigues had an immediate impact, not only exposing the wrongdoers, but also restoring trust among the hotel's other employees and guests. Grand Royal Management took swift action to deal with the saboteurs, ensuring there was no further interference with the charity event. With the obstacles removed, Emily and her group redoubled their efforts to ensure the success of the fundraiser. Michael reactivated his connections, ensuring that influential donors returned to support the cause. Loyal colleagues worked tirelessly to organize the event, ensuring that every detail was perfect and that all participants felt valued and motivated to contribute. The community response was overwhelming. Hearing about Emily's courage and perseverance in the face of so much adversity, many people were inspired to help. Support from hotel guests was renewed, and generous donations began to flow again. The charity event, which previously seemed threatened, resumed its course with renewed energy and an even stronger spirit of solidarity. The night of the fundraiser finally arrived, marked by an atmosphere of hope and renewal. The main hall of the Grand Royal was stunning, decorated with refinement and elegance. A perfect setting for an event that symbolized much more than just a financial effort. It was a celebration of human resilience, the ability to overcome adversity, and the belief that, together, we can achieve the impossible. During the event, Emily was invited to talk about her journey. Standing on stage, illuminated by the soft lights of the hall, she told her story with sincerity and emotion. He spoke about the challenges he faced, the betrayals he endured, and, above all, the hope he never allowed to fade. His voice, although marked by fatigue, carried an unbreakable strength that touched the hearts of everyone present. Emily's speech was met with a standing ovation, a collective recognition of her courage and determination. Fundraising exceeded all expectations, reaching an amount sufficient to cover the costs of John's surgery and providing a margin of safety for the future. Emily, amidst tears of gratitude, felt the weight of her struggles dissipate, replaced by the certainty that, finally, she had achieved the redemption she sought for so long. With the success of the event, Emily and Michael celebrated a victory that was more than financial. It was proof that truth and justice can prevail, even in the most difficult circumstances. Emily's journey, from a desperate chambermaid to a victorious woman, inspired everyone around her, showing that true strength lies in the determination to never give up, regardless of the obstacles faced. With the resounding success of the fundraiser, Emily Williams felt a huge weight lifted from her shoulders. The amount raised exceeded all of his expectations, providing him with the financial relief needed for John's surgery. For a long time, she had imagined this moment as a distant, on the horizon, but now, the reality of hope was finally within her grasp. The day of surgery was marked by an intense mix of nervousness and anticipation. Emily woke up early, as usual, but this time, there was a lightness in her step. He prepared a simple breakfast for John, knowing he was about to face one of the most crucial moments of his life. The smile you exchanged with him held a silent promise that everything would be okay. John, visibly calmer, held Emily's hand tightly, as if he wanted to convey to her all the confidence he felt. The journey to the hospital was full of emotion. Emily sat next to John in the taxi, holding his hand and watching the city quickly pass by through the windows. Every building, every person on the street, seemed like mere spectators of his personal story of hope and overcoming. The hospital, with its austere facade and bustling corridors, was the portal to the future she so longed for. At the hospital, they were met by a medical team who were already familiar with John's situation. The surgeon, a man of few words but with a calming presence, assured Emily that they would do everything in their power to make the surgery a success. Emily watched as John was prepared for the operation, feeling a mixture of pride and apprehension. Despite all the difficulties they had faced, they were there, about to take a decisive step towards healing. The hours that followed were a trial by fire for Emily. Sitting in the waiting room, she watched the clock with increasing anxiety. Every minute felt like an eternity, and every time a door opened, his heart raced. Her thoughts revolved around what was happening in the operating room, but she tried hard to keep hope alive, remembering everyone who had contributed to getting to that moment. During the wait, Emily was accompanied by Michael, who had become an invaluable friend. His silent, encouraging presence was a balm for Emily's frayed nerves. He brought her coffee and tried to distract her with light conversation, but they both knew the real battle was going on behind the operating room doors. After what seemed like endless hours, the surgeon finally appeared, with a tired expression mixed with a slight smile of satisfaction. Emily held her breath as he approached, fearing and hoping at the same time. The surgery was a success, the doctor said, his words echoing like heavenly music in Emily's ears. John now needs time to recover, but the outlook is very good. The news was met with a wave of relief and gratitude that almost made Emily break down. Michael hugged her, sharing the joy of the moment. Emily's eyes filled with happy tears, and for the first time in months, she felt like the future was something worth fighting for. John was moved to the recovery unit, and Emily was finally able to see him. He was pale and tired, but there was a peace in his expression that I hadn't seen in a long time. She held his hand, feeling the warmth of renewed life pulsing there. The moment was one of pure emotion, and both knew that this was the beginning of a new phase in their lives. The following days were dedicated to John's recovery. Emily remained by his side, taking care of him with all the love and dedication that came so naturally to her. The hospital became a second home, where every small improvement was celebrated as a great victory. John slowly regained his strength, and the color returned to his face. With each passing day, hope grew a little more in Emily's heart, turning into a certainty that everything would be okay. The return home was a moment of great emotion. Emily and John walked through the door of their modest residence with a feeling of triumph, as if they had conquered a mountain. The house, which once seemed a place of sadness and uncertainty, was now filled with hope and promises of a better future. Emily knew there was still a long road ahead, but she was more than prepared to face it, knowing that love and determination were her greatest strengths. John's surgery had been just the beginning of a new journey, one marked by renewal and the possibility of living fully again. Emily, her heart full of gratitude, looked to the future with renewed optimism, ready to build a new, happier life with the man she loved. After John's successful surgery, Emily Williams and her husband's lives entered a new phase of hope and reconstruction. The months that followed were marked by challenges and, at the same time, by small triumphs that gradually restored normality to their lives. John, still weak and in need of constant care, began a long recovery process. Every day, he gained more strength, although the steps were small and required patience. Emily, by his side, dedicated herself to taking care of him with a tenderness that only true love can provide. I prepared nutritious meals, administered medications, and encouraged him to comply with medical recommendations, always with an encouraging smile and words of support. The Williams home, which had been a place of fear and uncertainty, began to fill with signs of recovery and renewal. Emily redecorated John's room, filling it with soft colors and objects that brought back happy memories. Each day, I opened the windows to let the sunlight in, bringing a feeling of freshness and hope. Small potted plants appeared in the corners of the house, symbols of a life that, like John, was being renewed. Emily, despite her caregiving responsibilities, continued to work at the Grand Royal Hotel. Work, once an excruciating necessity, now became an anchor of stability. With the certainty that John was recovering, she faced her workdays with new vigor. Every chore, every clean room, was a step toward a safer, more stable life. The security of knowing that the worst was over gave Emily renewed strength, turning her tiredness into a source of motivation. At the hotel, Emily and John's story had become an inspiring legend. Colleagues and guests, who had previously treated her with indifference or even hostility, now viewed her with respect and admiration. Emily was no longer just a chambermaid. She was a symbol of perseverance and resilience. Michael Thompson, who had become a close friend and ardent supporter of her cause, continued to support her, ensuring that she had all the support she needed, both at work and in her personal life. Over time, Emily came to realize that her experience of struggle and overcoming had a value that went beyond her own life. Inspired by the generosity she had received, she decided it was time to give back and help others facing similar difficulties. He began to get involved in community initiatives and volunteering, offering his time and energy to support those in vulnerable situations. Emily organized small fundraisers and participated in support groups for families facing health issues. Her empathy and compassion made her a beloved figure in the community, and her ability to listen and understand the difficulties of others meant that many people sought her out for advice and support. What started as a simple desire to help turned into a solidarity movement that positively impacted many lives. Emily's own experience had taught her valuable lessons about the importance of perseverance and solidarity. She knew that without the support of Michael and the others who had believed in her, she might not have been able to save John. This recognition motivated her to continue helping, ensuring that other people also had the chance to overcome their own difficulties. For John, recovery was more than physical. It was a renewal of his spirit. With Emily's constant support, he gradually resumed his activities, re-engaging with life and the community around him. Every day was a victory, and together, they built a future that, despite the scars, was full of hope and happiness. The months of recovery were a journey of growth and transformation for the couple. The Williams home, which had witnessed so much suffering, was now a haven of peace and love. Emily, with her generous heart and unwavering spirit, had proven that even in the most difficult times, perseverance and solidarity can transform lives and bring light in the midst of darkness. With John's full recovery, Emily Williams' life finally took a new direction. After months of intensive care and hard work, she saw her husband's health completely restore, bringing back the energy and radiance that had been erased by the illness. John, now strong and healthy, was living proof that hope and love can turn any adversity into victory. Feeling that a new phase was opening before her, Emily made a courageous decision. She decided it was time to leave her job at the Grand Royal Hotel, a place that, despite having been a refuge in difficult times, no longer represented the future she wanted. With a heart full of gratitude and a soul full of hope, Emily said goodbye to her colleagues and friends, taking with her the memories of a journey of overcoming and the lessons learned. With John's unconditional support, Emily returned to studying, resuming the dreams she had put aside to face the storm that devastated her life. She enrolled in a degree course in education, determined to become the teacher she always dreamed of being. Classrooms, once distant and unreachable, were now a place of possibilities, where Emily could finally exercise the passion she had carried since her youth. Academic life brought new enthusiasm to Emily. She threw herself into her studies with the same determination that had guided her in her battle for John's life. Each class, each book read, was a new discovery, a new opportunity to learn and grow. Emily found a renewed joy in learning, and her passion for education rubbed off on her peers and teachers. While Emily dedicated herself to her studies, John, in his new phase of healthy life, resumed activities he had abandoned due to the illness. He began working on community projects, helping to revitalize public spaces and support local initiatives. His energy and enthusiasm inspired those around him, and he quickly became a beloved figure in the community, known for his willingness to help and his story of overcoming challenges. The couple, more united than ever, built a new routine that reflected the new stage of their lives. They began to share more time together, enjoying the small moments that were previously overshadowed by illness and worry. They made plans for the future, dreaming of trips and adventures that previously seemed impossible. Each day was a celebration of life, an opportunity to be grateful for overcoming the challenges they faced. Emily and John's story quickly spread throughout the community, becoming a source of inspiration for all who knew it. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers marveled at the strength and determination shown by the couple in their fight against adversity. Their journey showed that, with love, courage, and perseverance, it is possible to overcome even the most difficult challenges and find a new path of hope and happiness. Emily, with her newfound passion for education, began to get involved in volunteer teaching projects, offering classes and educational support to underprivileged children. Her dedication and care for the children were evident, and every little progress they made was a personal victory for Emily. She became a figure of inspiration and an example of how education can transform lives and open doors to a better future. As time passed, Emily graduated with honors and was offered a job at a local school. Her dream of becoming a teacher finally came true, and she entered the classroom with a heart full of gratitude and enthusiasm. Each student was a new opportunity to make a difference, and Emily embraced her role with the same passion and dedication she had shown in her own life. John, in turn, continued to work for the community, helping to create support programs for struggling families and sharing his own overcoming experiences to inspire others. The couple, together, became a symbol of hope and resilience, proving that, even in the most challenging situations, love and determination can transform any adversity into a new beginning full of possibilities. Emily and John, now stronger and more united than ever, looked to the future with confidence and joy. The experience they shared taught them that no matter how dark the path, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. And together, they were ready to light the path of others, showing that, with love and determination, any obstacle can be overcome and any dream, however distant it may seem, can become reality.